Welcome to Xunantunich. When I lived in Belize in the 1970s, I lived across the river from Xunantunich, and I had a Maya friend. We used to take his canoe across the river and make our way up to the Castillo with machetes to sleep atop the pyramid on full moons. It's where the Maya mystique first took hold of me. So, let's now view excavations during the 2022 field season at Xunantunich. We've got a middle preclassic structures around Ball Court 2 and Plaza A1, a Plaza B sweat bath, structures A9 panels 3 and 4, and structure A9 tomb of a female and movement of the panels from Caracol. And we thank Dr. Jaime Awe for allowing us to videotape. Take it away. And to help orientate you, here's a site map of Xunantunich from LeCount and Jaeger 2010. And I want to point out the Castillo, the largest pyramid at Xunantunich. And we'll be using this detail to point out the different structures. So now let's begin with excavations of middle preclassic structures around the end of Ball Court 2. And it's located right here in Plaza A.
I think they were like 30 some. In total, there were about 90 eccentrics in the caches. And when we put in our unit, one of those units right here, we hit the edge of what was a platform. So I decided that a project for one of my other grad students, Esteban, who just went that way. So no one's really talked much about the preclassic and the side core. And I thought, hey, that would be a great master's thesis. So I said to Esteban, that's why we're putting the unit over there. I had put one when I did the tourism project at the center line of the Castillo.
Right.
And it had gone down. And I had found a couple of shirts that were Cunil and Savannah Orange, etc. And we had also placed a unit in the plaza there, and we found a little platform that's middle preclassic. So I had little bits and pieces. And when we were doing that unit, we found a middle preclassic figurine. This summer now, we said, let's put some units, different locations, to see if we can find this middle preclassic building. And as you can see, you come over this way, right, you can see what Jim's skiing up there. It turns here.
Some big blocks.
Yes. Now it goes under the ball court. We might put a unit up on the bench there. Then we don't have to destroy it.
Do you have another corner of it?
Well, we're going to dig behind Jim. We'll follow it. We're hoping it's going to curve right by where Jim, the other Jim is. Yeah.
These blocks remind me of what you guys were doing in Plaza B at Calpetia
Right on.
a couple years ago.
Totally. Totally. It's in that style. And then we found, Britt was excavating here, helping Esteban, and we found two other figurines. Beautiful, the typical preclassic figurine head, and one of the bird ocarinas that came out here. And that looks like it's either modified bedrock. The floor is a little higher. You see the wall doesn't go all the way to bedrock.
I know what you're saying.
And tons again of Savannah orange, of brown, and all that kind of stuff. Types of materials that are coming out.
Jill, do you see the wall over here?
I haven't got over there yet.
I mean, they're all exact copies. We can't get two blocks the same size, shape, length, width, or thickness at all.
It'd be interesting to figure out where they were.
These guys are right on the limestone hill.
Yeah, where they're grinding this stuff out.
Jeez.
Cutting it.
So it's a
Good.
big
Yeah.
platform,
Yeah.
Not very complex, pretty simple.
Well made, though.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys have any plaster? Have you seen any?
There
Either floor or?
yes, we had a floor when Rick was here excavating, and Dan. The floor is like right here, Terry. You can still see some of it there. It came right from the bottom there. I think it's right there too.
We figure that the earliest plaster floor we have at Pac Between is about 600.
Yeah.
Anything before that is marl.
Did you guys find some charcoal down here? I think you had like little tags, remember?
I don't think we found any near
Yeah.
the bottom.
Yeah.
None here?
I don't think we found them.
But you got some from just below the floor
Yeah.
and from by the wall. So, and then, so that's inside. And again, we're going to try to see what's,
I think
What's
we got
back there?
plaster over there too.
yeah,
The higher
poorly
end of it.
preserved, but hey,
Man, I just can't get over the
size.
size of the blocks and the quality of it.
Yeah.
That's pretty unique.
Yeah. Yeah, so one of our last units from the last, not the end cache, but the cache here, that's our back dirt. And
That's what the terminal.
from 2018, when we excavated them, we found the cache. The cache was just above that pre-classic platform. And so we're trying to get a hand on what the pre-classic architecture is here.
Well, I'm glad you're getting more of it.
And like I said, no one's really talked about the pre-classic at the site core of Carlpitch. So
It'll be interesting how it
ties in with what Kat's doing.
Yeah.
I thought what Cat was doing was built before downtown Xunantunich.
Well, that's what that was prior to any major testing up here.
Oh yeah?
So now that we're doing this research, it will allow us then to get a better sense of how the site evolves.
You gonna present on this at the? is
Not
part
this
of-
year.
Not this year.
No, because I want Esteban's going to write it up for his MA thesis.
Oh yeah.
So maybe
Maybe
next year. Yeah. But it's a cool, and it's good size. So, ese era en la tumba de Caltech. Oh, Pakmitun! See the slate slab? This is 1987.
Oh, I've got this picture too.
Young Punk Jim. That's on B3 or B2. Yeah, B2, structure B2.
Look at all the slate in there.
The southern
Yep.
of the E group.
We tested structure 10.
He didn't do the conservation, obviously. And then dug inside and found a couple burials, and he found lots of ceramic deposits. When the Xunantunich project came, they dug a couple units in the courtyard.
Who did that? Do you know?
They never wrote it up.
Oh.
Yeah, there's still some stuff that we find that were never, in their progress reports. But so we decided to come back here in 2016, I think it's 2016, 2017. And inside those rooms, just tons of deposits, like all kinds of stuff. Ceramics. Over there, complete turtle shell with perforations, so like a turtle shell drum. Figurines, bifaces, you name it, jade. Human bones. We also found several barrels of children right in front of the eastern shrine there. Animal remains, little bits of everything. And so we decided to then expand. We found a big cache right on, where the rope is, right in front of there. We found this cache of smashed Belize red vessels. And then we've added to the map because we've now seen some structures that weren't in the original. That's normal, when things are covered in dirt, you'll miss some buildings. And so we've been excavating here. This is modified bedrock right there. You can see modified bedrock of drains right in here.
Ew.
And there is just, you'll see right now, so much artifacts. In fact, we think that when the site is abandoned, people are coming back and doing these rituals that, this is sacred landscape, this is where the ancestors live. And we've done like micro stratigraphy where you see some dirt above the final floor and then you start to see artifacts. Well, there's some other really interesting bits that we just learned last week or within the last couple of weeks of this group. Every time the rangers clear, if you come here, you'll see it. The artifacts are popping out of the walls. So the rangers just, like, look there. Right? It's just all over. So the rangers just pile them here for me to look at. But yeah, you can see modified bedrock here, like a drain. And
Wow, I don't see that though.
it's a really nice little drain that they dug. But we pull out, like just where they are right now, about 12, 15 bags of pottery every day.
Look at the soil.
Like, see, we're following this wall right now, right? And just this morning, look at all the bags of pottery from just this morning. All this stuff. And here you can see, Terry, look at this. Big, whoo, nice. This is either Kai or is it? Oh no, it's got the no, I thought it had the pipe crust, but it's just everywhere. You know, bags and bags of pottery. Now over here we have a sweat bath.
Oh,
Now this sweat bath, yeah. If you come this way, I'll show you something that really threw us. We have one at baking pot. We have one at Fuxil.
so they're not rounded then.
What? Oh, outside no, but watch what they do. Right? You remember to it. Where are you? Hey. Guys, Dr. Terry Powis, who works at Bitun.
Where are you?
And some of members of his crew.
The only members of our group.
Except for Jorge.
And what's Sheldon's last name? Skaggs. Dr. Skaggs in the back there, who works in New York City. I forgot which one of the colleges.
Bronx Community College.
All right. And are you at
I am Dr. King,
Dr. King from
University of South Carolina,
South USC?
and the real boss.
Carl.
I'm just the oldest person on the crew. That's it. I'm the fog. I'm a friggin' old guy.
So, Jim, if you come out here, check and see how they're changing their architecture over time. The original sweat bath. Yeah, if you guys come over here, you'll see it better. This is appended later on.
I think it's easier to go that way.
There's the original building, right? Right here. We thought this was going to be just, like behind you or to the south. We thought this was going to be one big long platform on the wall that I'm standing on. Well, that was not the case. Because when we dug in there, we found this wall. And you notice this abuts that wall. So it means this came after this, right? And you came in, and you notice something here? Look at the base. What is it doing?
Marking up.
It's vaulting,
Yeah.
right? It's the vault springs right there. So it's a little vaulted entrance.
Oh, I see. So that's the.
So, and sweat baths, like I said, we dug one at Fuxil, at Baking Pot's really well preserved at Baking Pot. We've conserved it too at Baking Pot. And you have to duck into it because you want to keep the heat in. And then you come in, there's always benches on both sides. If you look at El Seren, what's his name? Sheets did really good. Yeah. So then step up. There's another step that wasn't too well preserved. And this is the fire pit.
Yeah.
It's burnt, see the burning? So just last week, right, the guys had cleared this up. And I'm here, and I look over there and I go, that's burnt too. They don't have two fire pits. So then I'm in here and I look at this, how nice, the beautiful plastered wall. And it goes right underneath this. And it also is over here. That used to be the bloody entrance. And if you look too, look what it's doing. It's vaulting. Right here. And then cap. So what they do is, this northern section used to be the original entrance. And then later they block it off. And then they put the entrance here. So that was the original fireplace. But what's also really crazy now, well, before we go there, we also found that over here, that's the end wall of the sweat bath. And this was the other building that's contemporaneous, right here, it's going there. Looters in the 70s had destroyed this. And Liz and David did a salvage. It's published in Archaeology magazine.
Oh yeah.
It's called Fighting a Looting Battle.
That's a David.
Yes, very David title. So that was there. So later on, and so there used to be an alleyway. And later they blocked the alley. But before they blocked this alleyway, there were deposits down below. And if you come over here, you will see the kinds of stuff we're finding. Look at the mono there. Look at all the artifacts. It stops about here, right? And then there's a nice piece of obsidian. There's a spindle whorl. There's either human remains or animal remains. There's all kinds of stuff coming out of here. Really dense deposit. Oh, they also found right here some bifaces. It's probably in one of the bags in there. And it's associated with some of those deposits. So it's almost like they're reoccupying this area after abandonment and after they've been doing these deposits because they're constructing above the deposits. Well, it even gets better to see that. If we come back to the, over here to the Sutta. You can really see the vault here of this. See?
Oh yeah.
And then right there. It's vaulting. You can jump over here. Jim.
Here you can see the excavations of structure A9 of panels 3 and 4. Currently, the originals of panel 3 and 4 are located in the visitor center. This is panel 3 and its photo and drawing by Christoph Helmke. This is panel 4, and here we have the drawing of the glyph medallions by Simon Martin after Christoph Helmke.
Rings, I'll mention the tomb, but so anyway, this is structure A9. And in the at the turn of the century, in the 1910s, 1920s, this medical doctor named Thomas Yan, who got interested in archaeology, decided to excavate at the summit. And he finds the remains of a female individual and a bunch of broken pots. And he, that was all he did. In the 1990s, a team from UCLA excavated the southern flank of the structure. That's, you see where the trees are? So facing the playing alley. They excavated there, but they found some of the walls, the terraces. We call these the terraces of the building, going up. There are about 3 terraces. And people have been coming to Xunantunich to excavate since the late 1900s. So more than 100 years of people excavating here. I assume this is my second project here. My first project was 2000 to 2004. And then I came back in 2015 and have been here since 2015. So usually when we excavate a site, we always dig at the base of these monuments because the Maya often placed offerings there. And but I thought surely some other archaeologist would have done that. I had this graduate student from northern Arizona, and she had never done any excavations in her life. She wanted to do archaeology for an MA. And I figured, well, this site's already been, excavated. If nothing else, we can get a good sense of the architecture. So I said, Diane, you're going to write this up for your thesis. Include what other people have done. I said, but let's go for broke. I don't like to leave anything to, guesswork. Said, I assume somebody dug at the base of the stela. But let's put a unit there. We do, and we found this cache with about 14 eccentric flints. These are little flints that are shaped like scorpions, centipedes, half moons or crescents and all kinds of stuff. And I go, wow, that's the first week. That was like the second day of excavations. I said, Diane, your thesis is looking good.
I said, I usually also dig at the base of the building because sometimes you find caches there. And I knew because that little temple over on the other side, I excavated that in 2001 and I found 2 offerings there. One offering of 9 of those eccentrics, and then below that, 8 eccentrics and 1 jade bead, 9 objects. So I said, dig in here. 38 artifacts in that deposit. Now this is the 4th day. Friday, the guys have now expanded the stair. We call this the stair side, and that's the stair side outside. So we had a bunch of workers, digging along. And one of the workmen said, I think I have the stair side outside. He had excavated this section. So I said, yeah, it looks, and I said, wow, but it's really well preserved. I said, lend me your trowel. And I go, I said, that's not plaster. So I cleaned some more and I hit it and it's clinking. I go, holy shit. That's French for wow. Anyway, so we start to clean up and then we hit this and it's like, bingo, we have a carved monument. Now, I never like to assume or impose our sense of symmetry on the Maya. You always lose. Any archaeologist that has worked will tell you when you think they're going to be symmetrical, they go, ha ha, Maya 1, archaeologist 0. But again, why not give it a shot? So I said, keep digging on this side. Now I cheated a little bit here, folks. We dug in the stair side. We get to the stair side outset. Maya 1, archaeologist 0. So I said, well, don't give up, keep going. We found it was broken in half. This is a replica. The originals are in the visitor center. We found it lying here, face down. But we sometimes forget that over the last 1,000 years, right? Big trees have grown on top of this and the roots are pushing stuff all over the place. And then, what's your name?
Tati.
What?
Tati.
Tati? Hurricane Tati comes along and knocks down that tree. I like to pick on people sometimes. Knocks down that stuff and then moves the monuments, right? We just assume that it should be right where they left it. But there's a lot of what we call bioturbation, right? Biology or geology or whatever is taking place. So we find this second monument, all within like the first 9 days of excavation. That stuff never ever happens. I have colleagues who have spent a lifetime excavating and never found a carved monument. Well, it only gets better. One day, the guys are still excavating, I'm out here with the same camera, and I'm like, the panels, we figured out they're not local stone. And having worked at Caracol, doing, all that conservation work, right away, Jorge Khan, who's up here with me, he's back there somewhere. Right away, Jorge and I, we call him Tilico. We look at each other, we go, Caracol stone. Well, I photographed the glyphs, and another one of my ex-graduate students, now a professor at the University of Copenhagen, Christoph Helmke. Christoph and I have our little code. Whenever I find any object with hieroglyphic inscriptions, I send him emails, and the subject of the email is eye candy. So if Christoph sees an email from me and it says eye candy, he will stop everything and go check it out. So I put eye candy, and Christoph was like, WTF? What the hell? Yeah. What the hell? This, is probably part of the Naranjo or Caracol hieroglyphic stair. Depends on, some people call it the Naranjo hieroglyphic stair, some people call it the Caracol. And so Christoph started to do the decipherment, and I think the 2 fastest publications I've ever been involved with was the 2 publications, because we did the first one, and then when we found the second one, and then Simon Martin, all the epigraphers were here like within days. Oh, yeah. Simon was here, David Stewart was here, Nikolai was here. Wow. What's really neat about it is that they serve as almost like the the introduction and the conclusion of the hieroglyphics there. It starts off with telling us about the death of Lady Batsek, the mother of Lord Khan II, who commissions the hieroglyphics there.
Yeah.
And then it continues and it talks about this ruler from the site of Zibanche, who was the head of the Khan dynasty, right, the state dynasty.
Kanul?
What?
Kanul dynasty? Yeah.
Yes. And then that he plays ball game, and then what happens after that? He's sacrificed, and then it gives us, it reaffirms some of the dates that we had for the rest of the hieroglyphics there. And today we now know that the two biggest pieces are here at Kalpech of that at Xunantunich of that hieroglyphics there. And there's a fragment that was found at Ukanal by, it could have been Ian Graham that identified that fragment at Ukanal, where Christina Halperin, another student who did her master's with me in the caves, she's been working up at Ukanal. And some people questioned about, well, would they have been able to move these large monuments? And the answer is darn right they could.
Yeah.
When you look at Stonehenge, right, in the Upper Paleolithic, they were moving those large rocks. At Calakmul, Stela 9. It's a slate stela that's about 10 or more feet high. Massive slate monument. There's no slate around Calakmul. Really gifted by Karakol.
Right.
And Calakmul is about 60 kilometers from here. So we know that they can move these kinds of monuments over great distances. In this case, they could have brought it down the Mopan River. And if these are the two biggest ones, why did they end up here? Well, what I've argued is that our queen there may have been an ally. No question, this site would have been an ally of Naranjo. Participates in that battle, and this is their share of the booty. And might as well give them the heaviest pieces, because if you have to go 14 more kilometers with them, just leave them here.
Yeah.
And that could also explain why they're here adorning her funeral temple. So, you remember you were joking about, do you want the truth or the? But that's how we've sort of tried to piece this story together. Now, of course, I told my grad student at the end, I said, Diane, you better give up.
Yeah,
Never gonna get any better.
Because it's never, ever, ever going to get any better. I mean, nobody who's never worked in the Maya area, on their first month of excavation, right, caches.
So did she go on?
So she's doing her PhD at UNC, North Carolina, but in heritage management. So she probably realized that, it was never going to get any better than that.
And did they find any, did Vilma find anything at Naranjo?
Well, they looted most of the fragments from Naranjo.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. I think there might be just a couple of fragments left. They just got looted. I think Ian Graham records them the last time there in the 70s.
oh
I have it in the paper that Christoph and I wrote.
yeah.
And then, the site was just looted to hell, which is sad. But yeah. So if you want to learn more about the panels and the hieroglyphics there, you need to come and join the IMS on the 1st of October, where there's going to be a symposium that's going to be discussing the Naranjo or the Karakol hieroglyphics there in detail, with all the important specialists who know everything about the Khan dynasty.
Announcing the Institute of Maya Studies one-day symposium and roundtable on Saturday, October 1st. It's a part of this year's Maya at the Playa event. The title, The Karakol Naranjo's Hieroglyphic Stairway, featuring Dr. Jaime Awe, representing Xunantunich, Diane and Arlen Chase, representing Karakol, Dr. Vilma Fialco representing Naranjo, and Christoph Helmke with his work with hieroglyphics. And for all you Maya enthusiasts and Facebookers, isn't it time you join the Institute of Maya Studies? We're celebrating our 50th anniversary of providing public education about the Maya. For just $25, you can get a one-year membership that includes a subscription to the popular IMS Explorer newsletter. We're a 5013 nonprofit organization, and you can donate on our website using PayPal. Or mail a check out to the Institute of Maya Studies at the address you see on the screen. On my recent trip to Belize, Jaime Awe was gracious enough to meet with me, help promote the IMS Symposium on October 1st, and allow me to videotape these excavations. Thanks for tuning in, and remember to join the IMS.